Namaskar. Welcome to the Gandhi Katha. Due to some technical problems, we were unable to start with the bhajans that we had planned to have before the big commencement of the Gandhi Katha. I am Shobhana Radhakrishna and I express my gratitude to Ambassador Reenat Sandhuji and the Embassy of India in Rome for their support, Swamini Hamsananda Giriji from the Italian Hindu Association in Rome for hosting this online Gandhi Katha this evening during the commemoration of the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, and especially in these challenging times of coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. We stand in solidarity with Italian people in our common fight against COVID-19 pandemic. We are sure to continue our friendly ties even after this challenging times are over, and it will be strengthened with our solidarity that we feel with the Italian people. And I also extend my warm wishes for the Italian National Day today. Last year, I visited 33 countries during Gandhi 150 and gave 148 Gandhi Katha and talks. And that time I visited Italy also. That was from 5th to 9th March, and all the talks, about 5 of them, were organized with the support of the Embassy of India in Rome. On March 6th, I was invited by the Italian Hindu Association to give a talk on Mahatma Gandhi. On that day, I spoke about the sacrifice and the contribution of Kasturba Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi's wife, who was also equally great and inspired millions of women in South Africa and India. According to my understanding, Mahatma Gandhi's life is an epic of faith and endeavor. His faith was in truth, the ultimate reality of truth, and he endeavored to attain it through non-violence till the very last breath. Gandhiji's adherence to truth, non-violence and purity of means has inspired me to narrate the Gandhi Katha using the traditional Indian Katha format along with bhajans and hymns and visuals also, so that people could put their hearts into understanding Gandhiji and get inspired to learn from his life, thought and his service to humanity. In today's Gandhi Katha, if the technological support is alright, the singing will be by Srimati Swati Bhagat and Shri Deepak Kalra, who will be singing bhajans and hymns. The technical support and presentation are by Dr. Ravi Chopra. The lyrics of the Gandhi Katha hymns in Hindi are composed by Sri Narayan Desai ji. Gandhiji used to remain positive under all the circumstances, and that was his main trait. He had faced many challenges in life, and I think as the world is reeling under the impact of coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic and everyone is affected, it is important to face it fearlessly, intelligently and with a positive outlook towards life. The more positive we, the ordinary people, will remain, the sooner we'll be able to take this situation in an auspicious direction. For Gandhiji, this was his way of life. Perhaps the greatest source of strength for Mahatma Gandhi was in his faith in God. Truth was the deepest and the most complete form of God. The faith gave him the constant awareness that he was to be nothing but an instrument in his hands. He was to go wherever he was led. For him, the guidance of God constituted two things. One, he had to walk on the path enlightened by truth that was available to him in whatever measures and form. Two, he had to constantly gaze inwards and find inspiration and listen to his inner voice. One of his traits was also to learn from his mistakes. He was an ordinary person like you and me and made many mistakes, but the quality that distinguished him from all of us is that he very immediately, even if the mistake was made in his thought, words or deed, he recognized it. And that was possible because of his habit of self-introspection, self-examination and self-purification through repeated questioning. And that question was the question which has been asked in our Indian civilization since the past 5,000 years. It is, Ko Aham, who am I? And what is my purpose in life? According to the Bhagavad Gita, the only purpose in life is that of serving humanity, serving others. And that is the reason why Gandhiji had an ever progressive personality. He said, truth is God, Satya hi Parameshwar hai. Faith in truth led Mahatma Gandhi to two other realizations. If God is omnipresent, then truth is omnipresent too. That is, in each one of us, there is an element of godliness present. There is an element of truthfulness that is present. So that means everybody is capable of doing good to others as well as being good also. So this is something which he had as a trait, and his endeavor throughout his life was devoted to the search of that element of truth, to awaken it and to nurture it. And that is why he could feel oneness with everyone. For most of us, this realization of oneness with everybody does not set in easily. Because of this understanding of Gandhiji, he had no enemies. He did not want to settle any scores. He didn't want to take any revenge from anybody. He merely wanted to extend his love, compassion and respect for everyone. One of the traits again we see here that he respected individuals as individuals without attaching any labels, and that was one of his very, very important trait. While I'm telling you the story of Gandhiji or the Gandhi Katha, there will be many traits that I will be talking about, and all of us are capable of being leaders, are capable of following those traits to rise up to our real potentials and become role models for the next generation. Gandhiji used to begin and end his day with prayers. These were prayers from all the religions of the world. Sarva Dharma Prarthana used to take place early in the morning at 4 a.m. and in the evening at 7 p.m. under the open sky. He said that ultimately all the religions point to the same truth, and therefore we must study the essence of all the religions in an attitude of perfect reverence, and must have friendship and respect for the practitioners of different religions. All of Gandhiji's friends were from different religions and from all around the world. One of his legacies that he has left for all of us, for the entire humanity, is his method of non-violent conflict resolution through interfaith dialogues. Therefore, we will begin today's Gandhi Katha with the Sanskrit prayer Asato Ma Sadgamaya, which asks God to lead us from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality.
Sagamaya, Sagamaya, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, 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 Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, 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 Nityoya, Amritangamaya, 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 Nityoya, Amritangamaya, Amritangamaya, Amritangamaya,
I extend my best wishes on Nirjala Ekadashi and wish that on this pious day may Lord Vishnu impart everyone with the strength to do the right things and write off all the bad karmas with one's good deeds. Nirjala Ekadashi derives its name from Nirjala, waterless fast, observed on this day of the Hindu holy day, falling on the 11th lunar Ekadashi of the waxing fortnight of the Hindu month of Jeshta, that is May-June. It is considered to be the most austere and hence the most sacred of the Ekadashis of the 24 Ekadashis. According to the Vedic literature, the movement of the moon on the day of Ekadashi has a direct correlation with human body and mind. It is believed that during Ekadashi, the water in the body shifts in such a way that it puts pressure on the senses, making them more prone to worldly pleasure. Meditating and worshipping God on this day generates favorable influence on the mind and helps in spiritual elevation. Amid the shock and panic, the catastrophe of COVID-19 pandemic has prompted some radical thinking and people are trying to reinvent their lifestyles. In our Indian culture, our ancestors and sages had already thought about the right lifestyle. Acharya Charaka, 100 BCE to 200 CE, one of the principal contributors to Ayurveda, the Indian system of medicine and lifestyle, has been an early proponent of prevention is better than cure. And the following statement is attributed to Charaka. A physician who fails to enter the body of a patient with the lamp of knowledge and understanding can never treat diseases. He should first study all the factors, including the environment which influences the patient's disease, and then only prescribe treatment. It is more important to prevent the occurrence of disease than to seek a cure. So this kind of wisdom passed on from the great teachers of the world to Gandhiji also, whose philosophy was truth, non-violence and purity of means. He had said that I have nothing new to teach. Truth and non-violence are as old as the mountains. I have merely put them into practice in newer fields. So for Gandhiji, his lifestyle was chanting Ramanama, fasting, that is Upavasa, prayer, yoga, meditation, mauna, silence, and spinning. And these were his means of internal strength for being positive, calm, and serene, and for his well-being. Fasting came easily to Gandhiji. In his childhood, Mohandas had seen his mother Putli Bai was a very pious and religious lady observing the toughest of the vratas. Maybe she was doing it for her own salvation, but he understood that any kind of vrata or even fasting gives a lot of internal strength. But Gandhi was not interested in his personal moksha. He wanted to establish it as a societal norm. So, like for him, it was very easy. He obtained truth from the nectar of his life. All of us obtain it from the nectar of our lives. Till the fear of the society does not cloud our truth, we are truthful. But the moment someone says something and we realize that that is not the way to deal with any situation, we become untruthful. Gandhi never allowed his truth to be clouded by the fear of society. In Gujarat, where he was born 150 years ago, Jainism was prevalent. So it was an atmosphere of ahimsa, non-violence. So truth and ahimsa came very easily to Gandhi because his childhood samskara that he received from his parents was also of a great character building. So his character was built in his childhood. For him, all the other qualities were acquired. If he could acquire all the qualities, so can we. That is the power of one, and that's what we should strive for. In his autobiography, Gandhiji wrote that when he was in the 6th or 7th standard, up to his 16th year, he was at school and he was being taught many subjects by the teachers except religion, meaning thereby self-realization and the knowledge of self. Gandhiji was born in a Vaishnava family and he used to accompany his mother to the Haveli or the family temple. But it never appealed to him because he did not like all the glitter and pomp. When he was slightly grown up and he was serving his father, at that time his father was on sick bed, and every evening father used to listen to Ramayana from a very pious person who claimed to have cured his leprosy because of chanting of Ramanama, and he was a very learned person who chanted Ramcharitmanas in a very wonderful, soulful voice. So Gandhi's love for Ramayana became so great that he writes that today I regard the Ramayana of Tulsidas as the greatest book in all devotional literature. But in his younger days, child Mohandas used to be very timid and shy. He used to be scared of darkness, ghosts, and all kinds of scorpions and serpents. So Rambadai, his nurse, told him not to be afraid. She told him to repeat Ramanama. He had more faith in Rambadai than that remedy at that age, but that impression lasted. That good seed sown in childhood was remained with him throughout the life, and it just continued being with him till the very last breath when he uttered Hey Ram before he was shot dead. So we can see that Ramanama later in the years, Gandhi came to believe that Ramanama was not only an effective aid in controlling the mind, but it was an infallible remedy for most of the ills of the body. In his writing, he has written a very beautiful book on Ramanama, chanting of Rama's name, therefore assumed a deeper significance during these years. But as his journey progressed, as he threw himself more and more in the trials and tribunals, he relied on God and he took Ramanama, which was a remedy for his physical ailments also. So he fasted for 17 times for social cause, and he also said that one has to completely put oneself in God's hands, live according to God's laws, that is in harmony with the nature and in respect of food personal hygiene, health, and in respect of his treatment, he was very, very particular that he must respect his relationship with himself, with his fellow men, and with nature. Gandhiji was certain that he would be free of disease if he lived in harmony with nature, and that's why he followed his environmental credo, and he started experimenting with nature cure as early as from his students' days in 1888 to 1891, when he first came to understand the new ideas of the great philosophers and thinkers of the West, and that he began to write articles for his Indian opinion in 1906 about health, and those articles, so they later on were compiled in the form of a book called Guide to Health. But it continued, his experiments in nature cure continued, and he was a scientist. He experimented with everything, and that is why his autobiography is called My Experiments with Truth. In 1942, he wrote a very wonderful book called Key to Health and established lots of nature cure centers, and where besides the practices of nature cure, Gandhiji also taught patients to chant Ramanama. During these times of coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, we can certainly learn some valuable lessons for coping up with challenges of COVID-19, for being physically, mentally, and spiritually fit from the wellness guru Mahatma Gandhi, who comes free of charge. So one of the most very important messages of Mahatma Gandhi to the world was on the vital question of health and well-being and his environmental credo. To him, the study of this question was part of his service to God and his creation, which was his mission. Gandhi gave the message through his book, through his conduct, through the book Key to Health, and his experiments in holistic health and treatment through nature cure. His message was simple and easy to follow. He encouraged every Indian to respect simplicity, the Indian tradition and culture, the values taught by the Indian ancestors. So this book was translated in several Indian languages, and an English translation also appeared. It reached the West and it was translated in several European languages. The result was that Gandhiji says that this book became the most popular of all my writings. He had never been able to understand why it was so popular. He had written casually about his experiments without really attaching much importance and really not knowing that people would try it. But then he realized that perhaps the reason for its popularity was that he had looked upon the problem of health from a very novel point of view, somewhat different from the orthodox methods adopted by doctors and Vaidyas. So he said, I'm giving a new name, Key to Health, and for anyone who observes the rules of health mentioned in this book will find that he has got the real key to unlock the gates leading him to health. He will not need to knock at the doors of doctors or Vaidyas from day to day. So this, of course, he had written in 1942 from Aga Khan Palace jail, where he was imprisoned while he was leading the Quit India movement. Now this same message I would like you to listen to in the form of a Gandhi Katha Dhun in Hindi, which describes his philosophy through Aankhein Pavitra Rakh Satya Hi Tu Bol.
आँखें पवित्र राख सत्य ही तू बोल, आँखें पवित्र राख सत्य ही तू बोल, ईश्वर साक्षात होंगे अंतर टटोल, ईश्वर साक्षात होंगे अंतर टटोल, सत्य ही है परमेश्वर परमेश्वर बापू का बोल, सत्य ही है परमेश्वर बापू का बोल। उसी परमेश्वर की नित्य कर तू शोध, उसी परमेश्वर की नित्य कर तू शोध। आंखें पवित्र राख, सत्य ही तू बोल, आंखें पवित्र राख, सत्य ही तू बोल। ईश्वर साक्षात होंगे अंतर टटोल, ईश्वर साक्षात होंगे अंतर टटोल, ईश्वर साक्षात होंगे अंतर टटोल।
We were supposed to play Swamini Hamsananda Giriji's message in the beginning, which we could not do it. And they have also sung Vaishnava Janato very beautifully. So I would like to play the message now, and the choir which will sing Vaishnava Janato.
Namaste. Today we have the pleasure and the honor to host on this Namaste. Today we have the pleasure and the honor to host on this online platform Professor Shobana Radhakrishna, an eminent Gandhian follower, an inspired speaker on ancient wisdom, modern perspective, ethical corporate governance, spirituality. She is the chief functionary of the Gandhian Forum for Ethical Corporate Governance in New Delhi. She is best known for her lectures on ethics, values and spirituality based on wisdom, tradition and Gandhian philosophy. We also wish to thank the Indian Embassy for its collaboration and patronage. All over the world, the simple mention of Mahatma Gandhi Ji evokes the idea of non-violence, ahimsa. Even if people don't know exactly the details related to him, he has surely become an epitome of Bharata Mata's tradition, heritage and wealth of values. He indeed became the spokesman for highest ideals of Sanatana Dharma in universal vision. His satyagraha has supported him during all his life, as well as inspiring till today many others to become sincere satyagrahis, being honest, humble, pure in mind, pure in the emotions, non-violent, and free from fear. Mahatma Gandhi's thought and style of life is a teaching for all mankind. We are so lucky today that we can hear a living example of a Gandhian heritage through Professor Shobana's kata. Storm of pandemic has wiped away human lives, and today we must strive to rebuild a society with the building blocks of ethic and ability to put the common good before the blind profit. Mahatma Gandhi's teaching can also help us regain a deeper sense of ethic, economy and ecology. All this can arise full from observance of the dharmic ethical principles that Mahatma Gandhi defined as old as the mountains. These principles include ahimsa, not harming, satya, truth, asteya, not stealing, samtosha, contentment, peace of mind, and aparigraha, non-greed. To remember how much Mahatma Gandhi's ideals are beyond barriers of time and space, and how much we need them for our future, let's see a short clip of an event in Turin in Italy in a Christian church. The devotional song Vaishnava Janato that Mahatma Gandhi loved very much was sung in front of Gandhi-loving audience. So its message has reached all over the world and Italy too. This song recalls the principles of peace and justice that the devotee of all faiths feel in the heart. The poem describes the feeling, the life, the ideas of the devotee as a universal model of embodying the following qualities. Those being who have compassion for the pain of others, who support those who are in misery, but do not allow arrogance to overcloud their minds. Those beings who respect the whole world, do not denigrate anyone. They keep their words, action, and thoughts pure. Namaste.
Gandhiji's attire represented his message to lead a simple life. His teaching included instructions on manner of dress, personal health and hygiene habits, values, and making choices that reflect the nation's true spirit. In these times of coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic that has engulfed the entire world, and all of us are reeling under the impact of some form or the other in every corner of the world, we need to learn from Mahatma Gandhi's spiritual, moral and ethical lifestyle. As he had said, my life is my message. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi wanted to become a doctor from a very young age. But having been born in the Vaishnava family, his family told that his late father would not have approved of the dissection involved in the medicine. So he gave up that and opted to become a barrister. But his swadharma or the inner calling was of serving others. That stayed with him throughout, and Gandhiji dedicated his life to serving the entire humanity. He expanded his inner calling of living a healthy, moral and spiritual life. When Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was around 19 or 20 years old, he got aware of the Western culture in London during his student days between 1888 to 1891. At that point in life, his curiosity was aroused about various religions, and he made acquaintances with religious thinkers and reformers and philosophers, as their thoughts had already made an impression on the philosophical life of people in England. When Bertram and Archibald Keightley, the theosophist uncle and nephew, came to Gandhi to study Sir Edward Arnold's translation of the Bhagavad Gita called The Song Celestial, and they wanted to read it along with him in Sanskrit. So Gandhiji at that age understood that those messages of the Bhagavad Gita, as it made profound impression on his mind, especially the verse 62 and 63 from the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Samkhya Yoga, in which Lord Krishna describes the qualities of the person with steadfast wisdom known as Sthita Prajna. And those verses were Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammoha Smriti Vibhramaha Smriti Bhranshad Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pranashyati. While contemplating on the objects of the senses, one develops attachment to them. Attachment leads one to desire, and from desire arises anger. Anger leads to clouding of judgment, which results in bewilderment of the memory. When the memory is bewildered, the intellect gets destroyed. These two verses were absolutely something which captured young Gandhi's attention, and he wrote in his autobiography later on in 1922 that the verses in the second chapter made deep impression on my mind and they still ring in my ears. The book struck me as one of priceless worth. The impression has ever since been growing, with the result that I regard today as the book par excellence for the knowledge of truth. It has afforded me invaluable advice and helped me in my moments of gloom. For Gandhi, the message of the second chapter was very simple. Firstly, the simple and straight path of Swadharma should be never abandoned for the crooked path of adharma or wrong path or paradharma or path of others. Second, realizing the impermanence of body, it should be used only for Swadharma and must be cast away without hesitation whenever it is needed for Swadharma. And thirdly, the fact that spirit is all pervasive and omnipresent and must always be borne in mind that all the differentiation of mine and yours must be cast away. So this enunciation by Lord Krishna of facts of life impressed Mahatma Gandhi so much that he lived accordingly through his human body and conducted sadhana for 38 years before writing his translation of the Bhagavad Gita called Anasakti Yoga, the highest self-realization, which is the way of conduct according to Gita, or with what is Swadharma. The Swadharma is that matchless way of renunciation of the fruits of action. And Gita has given us the answer for the entire humanity. Do selfless service, do the right action, renounce the fruit of action, surrender all actions to the Lord. Therefore, surrender the mind, word, and actions to God. And all this is not possible without devotion. So, without devotion, only knowledge can be dangerous. So, but devotion surrounds the heart of the devotee, and he surrenders when he surrenders at the altar of God. And therefore, the author of Gita has described the qualities of the devotees or bhakta just like the quality of the Sthita Prajna. And what are those qualities? The one who is not jealous of anyone, who is a notion of compassion, one who is free from attachment, one who is free from, for whom joys and sorrows, heat and cold are the same, one who forgives and remains content always, does not change the decision, and has surrendered the mind and intellect to God. People do not fear him, and he is not afraid of people, who is free from happiness and sorrow, and one who is pure, one who has equanimity in spite of all the expertise that he has, one who has given up good and evil equally, one who has equanimity towards friends and foes, one in whose eyes honor and insults are the same, one who does not get overwhelmed with praise and saddened with criticism, one who keeps mourner, enjoys solitude and a steady mind. That is the devotee that is very dear to me, says Lord Krishna. And we see all these traits in Mahatma Gandhi ji. So Gandhiji's character was built in India. His seeds of spirituality were sown in India, which flowered in London when he went as a student. And while he read and broadened his vision, the lines of the Rig Veda came through. Ano bhadraha kratavo yantu vishwatah. Let noble thoughts come to me from all the directions. Barrister Mohandas Gandhi did his sadhana in South Africa from 1893 to 1914, where he spent close to 21 years. And after his many experiences with racial discrimination and the kinds of insults and humiliation that he went through because of the color of his skin, there was a metamorphosis, and the individual barrister Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi turned into societal Gandhi Bhai, and he gave the world the noble method of fighting injustice called Satyagraha, which is one of his first legacies. In 1904, in South Africa, after reading John Ruskin's book Unto This Last, Barrister Mohandas Gandhi transformed his life and started leading a community life of self-control and voluntary poverty along with bread labor. This bread labor he had read from Leo Tolstoy's book, and he was influenced by his book, The Kingdom of God is Within You. So Gandhiji established 4 ashrams, 2 in South Africa, 2 in India. And some of you must have visited those ashrams in India also, Sabarmati and Sevagram Ashram, which he established in 1936. And Gandhiji and Kasturba Gandhi started living in poverty like the common villagers of India. I'm happy to inform you that I was born in that Sevagram ashram, and my father was inspired by Gandhiji since his childhood, and he joined the freedom struggle. And even after and the ashram, of course, and even after Gandhiji passed on for more than 5 to 6 decades, my father and all of us have continued to walk on the path shown by Gandhiji to the entire humanity, and not only to our family. So what I'm telling you today is based on what my father has told me, based on my own experience and understanding of Mahatma Gandhiji, who has inspired a generation of people who followed him and continue to do so even today. Ashram life was a life of strict routine from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. and I follow the same routine. Even now, it was a life of voluntary self-control, punctuality, discipline, promptness, minimalistic living in harmony with nature, following the environmental credo of minimum use of resources, recycling, growing and eating simple vegetarian food, sharing and caring, being ever vigilant, and exercise and yogasana and walking. Gandhiji used to walk for 18 kilometers every day, morning and evening. And there were 4 community activities, which were morning and evening prayers, community cleanliness and sanitation, community eating together and spinning, agriculture, bread labor, constructive activities, and above all, using every minute of time, which is the only non-renewable resource that all of us have. Therefore, if we want to learn how to use time perfectly with punctuality and promptness, Gandhiji comes across as the role model for all of us. And that our father's friend Horace Alexander, the British Quaker, who spent many years with Gandhiji, called him a slave of watch. So Gandhiji has given 3 gifts to humanity. One is Satyagraha, the other is constructive activities, and the third is Ekadasha Vrata, or the 11 rules which he had set up for the ashrams, which were based on all the values transmitted by our ancestors, and he made everybody follow that, and even till today we follow it. That shows the significance of its relevance. In the morning and evening prayer, the first verse of the Ishavasya Upanishad used to be sung, which is Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyan jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha ma gridha kasya svidhanam. That everything in this universe belongs to God. Nothing really belongs to us. Enjoy the objects of the world in an attitude of perfect non-attachment. Enjoy it with a feeling of sacrifice, to taking to the extent that is necessary for us, and leave the rest for others in the society. We should never ever crave the possession of others. Nothing really belongs to us. So we will share this in a form of a dhun called Naya Tera, Naya Mera, Ishwar Kaya Raj. Very few people are aware about the tremendous contribution that Mahatma Gandhi and Kasturba Gandhi have made to public health and to looking and serving the humanity 123 years ago. Today, in the coronavirus COVID-19, we are facing many challenges, but Gandhi couple faced many challenges, and I would like to take the example of Spanish influenza pandemic of 1918, in which Gandhiji had opened up his ashram as a quarantine center and looked after everybody, and at that time also he had advised to quarantine people and to maintain physical distance, eat proper diet to improve the immunity, and all these things he had done already. Therefore they stand in front of us as role models. Now we need to close the Gandhi Katha. I would like to request to play Raghupati Raghav Rajaram as Gandhiji's blessings to humanity for bringing health, peace, well-being and prosperity to every one of the creatures of the universe, and let there be peace, because Gandhiji had said that peace is the only force on earth which can lead us from darkness to light.